Looks drier in the south, but further rain or showers in the north.
We are GB News.
And we'd like to say thank you
to each and every one of you
for helping our great nation
find its voice.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland.
On TV,
on radio
and online.
We're proud to be
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
On the Mark Steyn Show, we cover the stories a lot of people are scared even to mention. The stuff that really matters with some of the world's biggest thinkers.
Now is his opportunity to kind of take the steering wheel of history.
Break away from the flop at 8 o'clock on GB News with the Mark Steyn Show.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness, brilliant.
And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Good evening, everybody. Strap yourselves in for 2 hours of great chat, the stories that have got you talking and plenty of laughs along the way as well. This, of course, is the one, it's the only Friday Night Feast. Yes, OK, well, the weekend starts here, ladies and gentlemen. Get yourself a drink, grab your nuts, do whatever you want if that's your thing, and sit back and relax, because here's a little taste of what we've got coming up in the next couple of hours. This week's challenge saw me down at the farm, but what have I actually been up to? You'll find out a little later this hour. All I can say is it was utterly brilliant. Yep, there we go, these jokes don't write themselves. And we're going to try to rehome a rescue dog as well. Can you find it in your hive? You've got one. To give the beautiful Kendra her forever home. Kendra's an interesting name for a dog. Anyway, there we go. So you can rename her if you decide you want to. Anyway, I'm going to meet the man who had a fight with one of the most famous actors in the world and lost. There's a story as well, of course, of the squirrel who caused chaos in a branch of Greg's. It quite literally went nuts. And if that's not enough, I'm going to show you a video of a policeman falling off a fence. What's not to love, people? That's all on the way between now and 9 p.m. But first, it's the latest news headlines. Brought to you this evening by somebody who used to be a producer on Friday Night Feast but decided she was far too good for us and she wanted to go sit over there and read the bulletins. No hard feelings, Tatiana.
Thank you very much, Patrick. This is the latest from the GB newsroom. NATO's Secretary-General says Russia's annexation of 4 areas of Ukraine is in total violation of international law and that it's the most serious escalation since the war began. President Vladimir Putin announced Moscow would take control of the regions across southern and eastern Ukraine after so-called referendums held there. Jens Stoltenberg says Putin's action should be rejected by all countries around the world.
The sham referendums were engineered in Moscow and imposed on Ukraine in total violation of international law. This land grab is illegal and illegitimate. NATO allies do not and will not recognize any of this territory as part of Russia.
The Office for Budget Responsibility says it will deliver its initial forecast on the impact of the government's policies on the 7th of October. It follows a meeting this morning with the Prime Minister and Chancellor in an attempt to reassure financial markets. Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng have faced criticism amid rising mortgage bills and instability after last Friday's mini-budget announcement. Bones believed to be the potential remains of Keith Bennett, a victim of Ian Brady, and Myra Hindley have been found in a remote location on the Saddleworth Moors. They were discovered in the Peak District by an author researching the 12-year-old murder. Greater Manchester Police says it's far too early to be certain whether they're human remains. Brady and Hindley murdered 5 children in the mid-1960s, with 3 of the victims found. Merseyside police have arrested a 40-year-old man on suspicion of assisting an offender in connection with the murder of Olivia Pratt-Corbell in Liverpool last month. The 9-year-old was shot in her home in Dovecote in August. Her mother was also injured. Yesterday, a 34-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of murder and is being questioned by police. Officers continue to appeal for information. An inquest has concluded that the death of Molly Russell was caused by an act of self-harm, while the schoolgirl suffered from depression and the negative effects of online content. The coroner found the 14-year-old had been a frequent user of Instagram and Pinterest, viewing thousands of posts related to depression, self-harm or suicide. Coroner Andrew Walker said algorithms meant she was exposed to further images she hadn't requested. A spokeswoman for Meta said they'd continue to work to ensure they offer the best possible protection and support for teens. In the US, Florida's state emergency director says Hurricane Ian has killed at least 21 people in the state. The storm regained Category 1 hurricane strength as it headed towards South Carolina earlier on, bringing winds of up to 85 miles per hour. It's thought to be one of the most powerful storms ever to hit the US mainland. TV, online and DAB+ radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Patrick.
Welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Now, would you believe it's less than 4 weeks since Liz Truss became the Prime Minister? Usually a new party leader would enjoy some kind of honeymoon period, but unfortunately for Truss, that has not been the case. So, within a few days of her appointment, she had to handle the death of Her Majesty the Queen. Then last week, her government's mini-budget led to a big fall in the markets and the value of the pound, though that has now rallied a little bit in recent days. However, this week's Labour Party conference was widely seen to have been successful. I was there, and it really is showbiz for ugly people. That is just a fact. But anyway, there we go. And the results of GB News' People's Poll does not make for happy reading for the government. But, as Margaret Thatcher always used to say, at this particular time in your tenure, you should be behind in the polls, although that might have been a good bit of spin. So we found that a massive 50% of people would vote Labour if there were a general election tomorrow, and just 20% would vote for the Conservatives, which is interesting, I think. I'll remain to be convinced by that, but there we go. When we asked people who would be best to manage the British economy, the results were just as concerning. 39% went for a Labour government, and, of course, that is Sir Keir Starmer's party. Just 10% chose the Tories and Liz Truss, which is quite shocking, actually. Well, earlier this week, Tory peer Daniel Hannan wrote on the Conservative Home website, "The pound isn't crashing over a trifling batch of tax cuts. It's because the markets are terrified of Starmer." Well, is that right? Because I thought that was a bit of an interesting angle. We've heard far too much about whether or not, the Tories just want to tax the poor and let the rich off. I thought, hang on a minute, why is the market actually tumbling? Is he right? Is it because they're absolutely terrified of Keir Starmer and what that would mean for the markets going forward? Or are the Conservative Party in real crisis heading into their annual conference? To discuss this, I am joined by another Tory peer. You can't move for Tory peers in here at the moment at the GB News studio. Daniel Moylan.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Who's also been a former advisor to Boris Johnson, and Nigel Nelson, who's the political editor of the Sunday Mirror and Sunday People, who I think last time I saw you, Nigel, we were actually at the Labour Party conference, which was interesting. I'll start with you, Nigel, then Nigel Nelson there. Do you think the markets are absolutely bricking it over a Keir Starmer premiership?
No. What they're worried about was the mini budget and the uncertainty that ended up causing. So what has basically happened is that the market lost confidence in the ability of this government to actually run the economy. And that's going to be really hard to actually come back from. Now, your poll, the 30-point lead for Labour, is actually in tune with a number of other polls that have come out over the last couple of days. Now, OK, when the general election comes, it'll narrow. It won't be anything like that. But I think that we've seen a Prime Minister and a Chancellor who've tanked the pound, wreck the economy, and that's what the real reason is for the markets doing what they're doing.
OK, Daniel, I'll bring you in now. Daniel Moylan, Tory peer. Do you think this has been a bit excessive, to be honest with you? I mean, a couple of tax cuts are announced that are going to come into force in April. Keir Starmer produced something in conference which was pretty much uncosted as far as I could see. Keir Starmer's the oracle. Kwasi Kwarteng's taken a flamethrower to our economy. What's going on?
Well, first of all, I'm happy to say I think the Conservative Party is facing a sort of political crisis. But I think a lot of this rubbish about the financial markets as if they were one thing. You know, I was waiting to hear Nigel say that he was rejoicing that the pound had gone back to the level it was at before the mini-budget and that the whole crisis was over. He didn't say that at all. He kept on talking about crashing the pound when it's all over. And we're back to where we were before. So the financial markets have been sort of placated on that. And there is the truth that we've had far too low interest rates for 14 years, ever since Gordon Brown and the financial crash in 2008. And that was always going to have consequences for inflation. And it's taken Putin's war to to bring that out with the pressures that he's put on the economy.
It's going to be fascinating, though, isn't it? I'll just bring you back in, Nigel. It's going to be fascinating, really, at this year's Tory Party conference. I'm hosting there 3 till 6, Monday to Tuesday. Cheeky little plug to get that one thing in your diaries. But it's going to be interesting because normally the kind of quiet confidence that potentially we saw at Labour is normally felt by Conservatives, whether or not that's just because they've got money in their bank and are related to elements of the landed gentry. We'll have to wait and see. But are some elements of the Conservative Party now really going to have to pull it out the bag to win back voters? How do you think they can do it? What can Truss do? She can't just talk about cheese farms or pork farms, whatever it was she said before.
No, she can't. And the first thing she must do is win back her own MPs. I mean, I know an awful lot of Tory MPs who are not going to get a conference this year. And you've seen sort of tweets being put out by people like Rishi Sunak saying that he wants to stay away so she can own the moment. What he actually means is so she can own the disaster that she's just caused. So the first thing to do, in fact, is to actually win back her MPs and probably some members of the party who voted for her, who are now having second thoughts. The next stage, obviously, will be to try and get back the country. But at the moment, I think that the government is in crisis, and what she's got to do in the final hurdle is actually save her premiership. It really hasn't got off to a very good start.
No, OK. Daniel, I will throw it back over.
Yeah, well, Nigel makes some very good points. And on this, I think he doesn't understand financial markets, but I think he understands politics. And he's got this absolutely right. The Tory party, first of all, you have to think the Tory party is a party I knew growing up with, was a party that responded to crisis by rallying round the leader, holding its nerve and showing its mettle. It's turned into a sort of the Conservative Party in Parliament, into a sort of vociferous sort of bunch of people who can't hold their nerve for 20 minutes. And they do need to learn the lessons of the past and actually realise that you literally cannot ditch prime ministers every time you have a fit of nerves. And Liz Truss is going to be the Prime Minister until the next general election. And you might as well get behind her because there isn't going to be another one. And if there is, you might as well get out of Parliament anyway because there won't be a Conservative Party represented there.
Daniel, I'll keep it with you. We are, as a nation now, being asked to choose between two incredibly dull people, aren't we?
Incredibly?
Dull.
Well, dull people. Well, we don't want excitement in politics necessarily.
Oh, a bit of excitement.
What we want,
Boris Johnson likes a bit of excitement.
solid policies that point in the right direction. And what this country has been missing is policies that support private enterprise, entrepreneurship, and all the things that lead to economic growth. And both parties in government, all three parties that have been in government over the last 10 years, have fallen down on that, and the Bank of England's been absolutely useless as well. And Liz Truss at least recognises that and is trying to do something, Kwasi Kwarteng, and trying to do something to push in that direction. Whether it's the right thing, whether it's enough, whether it's complete, is another question. Whereas all we get from Keir Starmer is more nationalise this, spend more public money on that, while at the same time, the economy, the real economy, the wealth-producing economy, has been going down the plug hole. And that isn't the right way forward. That is the way backwards. So I'm not saying Keir Starmer would destroy the country. I'm saying Keir Starmer would just cause us to carry on in decline. Liz Truss is trying to give us an opportunity to grow. We ought to give her a chance, at least more than a fortnight's chance.
Yeah, Nigel, why is it that people think that, you know, we've got to nationalise everything, we've got to put everything in state ownership, everyone's always got to have their hand out, and then someone says, go for growth, and it's, oh, my days, we can't have this is mental.
Well, I mean, going for growth is fine. In fact, that's actually what Keir Starmer was talking about at his conference. His way of going for growth is actually to improve the green industries and do it that way. That could create up to about 700,000 jobs. Liz Truss's way is to go for tax cuts, which a lot of economists doubt will actually do anything for growth. And most of the economists I've spoken to don't think this 2.5% growth target is achievable. Certainly not under the policies being displayed at the moment.
More government money to be spent this time on green jobs in order to get growth. I mean, it's always government money that's going to give us growth, but that's just nonsense. It isn't.
OK. All right, both of you, thank you so much. Nigel Nelson, Daniel Moylan there.
Thank you.
Going at it, hammer and tongs. We've got a bit extra from money's worth there, Daniel. That's what happens there. We, in the spirit of a big green agenda, which we're all signed up to now, we thought we'd recycle some of our guests who we had on with Bev Turner earlier. Both of you, thank you very much. I will now unleash you onto London or wherever you are so you can go and enjoy your weekend. But I am joined tonight by the lovely Francine Lewis. It said fragrant in my auto cue there. Is that a compliment? Fragrant?
Fragrant.
Does it imply that you smell?
Oh, I quite like that.
Does it?
Yes, I have got a nice perfume on tonight.
Because you do?
Yes, I won't tell everyone my perfume because I like to keep that secret. It's my secret smell.
OK, and the gorgeous Greg Burrs. Now, Greg, you are making your Friday night feast virginity this evening, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, yes. It's nice to be losing it. Thank you.
Yes, finally, after all these years.
What a way.
Thought, yes, exactly. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Now, do you just spare a little bit at the state of politics in this country at the moment?
Do you know, we were just talking before we came on, I've got, the last few days, it's got so bad, I've almost gone beyond worry for a couple of days. I mean, it's just been extraordinary, isn't it? I mean, it's just, first of all, where have they been for all week? It was just a hit and run, wasn't it? It's like, you know, the mini budget, which, by the way, I don't know why, that didn't seem that mini.
It wasn't mini.
Where's this mini? Why are we using mini? It was catastrophic.
I've got to be honest with you, I actually quite liked it, just because I thought it had a bit of chutzpah. I'm not an economist.
Are you a homeowner?
No, not yet.
Oh, there you go. I can understand why you liked it.
By the looks of it, never will be.
Yeah.
But there we go. I mean, but I quite liked the ambition, at least, the idea of going for growth. I thought, you know, do you not think we lack a bit of positivity in this country?
100%. I mean, I agreed with both Daniel and Nigel what they were saying, but I mean, we do need to give Liz Truss a chance. I championed hers when I was last on the show, and I think we need to give her a chance. It's been 4 weeks, and I really don't think Keir Starmer's going to do any good for this country. So I say Liz Truss all the way.
OK, that's interesting. I mean, there is this point as well, isn't there, that she's been in the job, bless her, for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And her becoming Prime Minister coincided with the launch of the new show that I do 3 till 6 p.m, another cheeky little plug for GBNews Live, Monday to Thursday. And since then, she's had Becoming Leader, the death of the Queen, Labour Party conference, then she's got Tory Party conference, a budget, the crash of the pound. I mean, it's not been an easy start for the old girl, has it?
No, it hasn't. But to be fair, the crash of the pound was her doing. So, like, you know, I understand, obviously, it's difficult times, you know, you know, the nation in mourning. You know, difficult first week or so for her to step up to. But the rest of it is self-inflicted. obviously, I mean, the thing is, at first, I think I felt like in some ways she had almost not an easy job, obviously, but because we were all just, I mean, we've been hanging on since, July? I mean, I remember when they were saying, like, I remember the first time they said, well, we'll find out the Prime Minister on September the 5th. And that felt like, well, what were we doing until September the 5th?
That we really knew who it was for
well, we
quite a
did.
long time.
Well, exactly. So how did it take so long? And obviously Boris was off straight away. I mean, he was making. He didn't even try and pretend he was still working, did he? I mean, we've all done a bit of working from home at some point over the last couple of years, but he, could have at least metaphorically wiggled his mouse a bit to at least think something was happening. And of course, we were just waiting for Liz to come out and do the energy crisis. Yeah. But then which obviously had to be done.
The energy crisis, I didn't even mention that in my list earlier. Yeah.
Well, that all seems. I miss the days when we're just worried about the energy bill. Those seem like the good days now.
I missed it when Gordon Brown was getting locked in toilets at Labour Party conference and couldn't come out and do his speech. And you had, Edwina Currie doing whatever or whoever Edwina Currie was doing on that particular given day. And then now we've got...
I love a bit of Edwina Currie gossip.
Your politics used to be a lot more fun, didn't it? It's very dull now. It really is dull.
Seriously.
It was, yeah.
Now we're talking about heavy stuff like, the economy.
Yeah.
And this, before it was just wild, wasn't it? I loved it.
It was wild.
I do think this is going to be a really awkward party conference. I mean, it's going to be the most awkward... I mean, obviously, they're going to have to give her the standing ovation of it. It's going to be the most...
Well, I mean, she's an awkward speaker as well. I mean, I like Liz Truss. I hope, I think it is in everybody's interest for the Prime Minister of this country to do a good job. Right?
Yeah.
So hopefully she does do that. But she is not a particularly inspiring speaker.
No, I mean, I do agree that we need to give her a bit of time, but the problem is we don't have that much time now. If you're a homeowner, you can tell by this I'm quite worried about my mortgage. We don't have...
Yes, you don't have to bring up the fact that you're a homeowner.
well, I'm trying to forget it myself, to be honest, because there's a chain around my neck at the moment. But, we don't have that much time because, with it's spiralling. I mean, people are... It's going to get to the point very quickly where people aren't going to be able to afford to live in their home.
It's true, and there's some real crucial matters to be discussed in the next week or so. So I think.
Would you have Boris back?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
He's having a great week, isn't he? Boris is just sitting there.
Boris, always backed Boris. He had something about him, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you know how I picture Boris this week? Obviously Churchill is his hero. I literally picture Boris sitting at home with a cigar, just going.
Like a tumbler,
go on then.
Go on then. Full of scotch.
Just, to be fair, he's been doing that. He's been doing that since June. To be fair.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
We need Boris back.
Yeah.
I
honestly do think maybe there are elements of the Conservative Party that go, what did we do here?
Yeah.
There we go. Anyway, right. So, we're off to an absolute flyer. Thank you very much, everyone. There's loads more. Well, frankly, chaos coming your way very, very shortly because Friday Night Feast would be nothing without you, my adoring public. My lovely people. So, please do get in touch. Email me, gbviews@gbnews.uk. And if Twitter's more your thing, then you can just drop me a message as well, @gbnews. And if it's your lucky night, I might read out your message a little later in the show. But next, it's time for our big debate. So, ahead of the big debate about James Bond next Wednesday, we asked the great British public, could Bond ever be played by a woman? And can I just give a little shout-out as well to Christina, who went out to do these vox pops. Normally I do enjoy going up and down the Paddington Riviera, but, well, I've been throwing up all night, so I thought I'd give it a miss.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah, it's time for a change.
I'm not sure it can be women, because this franchise always was a man. I don't know, maybe. But I don't know.
It can be a woman.
Yeah, it's very good, I think.
Sure,
of course. No, I've got no problem. They had a Doctor Who, didn't they? My female Doctor Who, so why not?
Whoever they choose, whoever will accept.
No, I think it's better a man. Wow, it's the icon of... a man. I prefer a man.
Why not? Why not?
I don't mind at all, actually. Why not? It's just a character, it's fictional, it's not real. It could be a woman, it could be...
I like it, yeah. I like it.
We need more female role models because we're literally lacking that in movies. And that's, even for actors, it's always a male actor that we need as opposed to a female one. So it's nice to have that.
It's not quite the same for me to have a woman. I mean, I don't know about you.
It's not Wonder Woman or anything like that, is it? No.
It's got to be a man.
Yeah, and again,
that was what Ian Fleming wrote.
As long as the writing's good and it's true to the character as well, and that moving across there, then I see no reason why you can't have a woman in that role. Because at the end of the day, it's 007, isn't it? So I mean, that's the role that you're actually casting into. So it'd be great to see that.
We are GB News.
And we'd like to say thank you
To each and every one of you.
for helping our great nation
find its voice.
We're absolutely everywhere.
across England, Scotland,
Wales and Northern Ireland.
On TV,
on radio, and online. We're proud to be
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
On the Mark Steyn Show, we cover the stories a lot of people are scared even to mention. The stuff that really matters with some of the world's biggest thinkers.
Now is his opportunity to kind of take the steering wheel of history.
Break away from the flock at 8 o'clock on GB News with the Mark Steyn Show.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness me!
And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Yes, welcome back, everybody. If only you could hear what we talk about in the breaks. But welcome back to Friday Night Feast. Here's a question for you. Should James Bond ever be replaced by Jane Bond? So next Wednesday is the 60th anniversary of the release of one of the most famous Bond films. It's Dr. No, which was apparently Sean Connery's first Bond movie. There you go. Daniel Craig is the most recent Bond, and he appeared in 5 films, finishing with No Time to Die, which was released last year. But he's now quit the role, and obviously for anyone who's not watched that film, he kind of had to quit it because of what happened right at the end of it. But there we go. I won't ruin it for you. I won't ruin it for you. Anyway, the Bond producers have said that there will be an announcement next Wednesday. We are all gripped. We're waiting with bated breath. Will they announce the next Bond? Will it be a woman? Joining me to discuss this, our Bond expert, Patrick von Sayhovsky, is that right? What a fantastic... It's more Bond villain than Bond expert, that name, actually. Great stuff. You'd love to see it.
Stole my job.
You're much more appropriately named Rachel Reed, right? Thank you very much. Author and broadcaster there. All right, so, Patrick, fantastic name. Oh, sorry, I've read that wrong, have I? Rebecca Reed. Apologies about all of that. Anyway, right, name gate's over with. Who's the name of the next Bond going to be? Patrick, I'll start with you. I can't get your name wrong. It's the same as mine.
Well, it pretty certainly isn't going to be a woman. We've had pretty heavy hints from Barbara Broccoli, the producer, that they're going to tweak it, they're going to do it different, but to change it that completely isn't going to happen. The thing about the Bond franchise, it's a bit like the Marmite Jaw or the British monarchy, so it's being subtly tweaked all the time, and occasionally you have a change in the lead character, but there are certain things that they're not going to play around with because it's just too much of a change. And frankly, I don't see why they should. There are plenty of other great female franchises instead of trying to repurpose the Bond franchise.
Yes, but I suppose Rebecca or Rachel or whatever you want to be called today. So would you have a female Bond, do you think, Rebecca?
Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think they'll do it? Probably not. My main issue is that this is always held up as like the thing feminists want most in the world. Like the feminists are baying for James Bond's blood. This is very low on the list of things that we most care about. We're not trying to ruin everyone's fun. I think the issue is how angry it makes some people. And it is almost comical how angry some, and I'm going to say it's usually men, get at the idea that James Bond, who is apparently some kind of role model, despite the fact that he's ostensibly quite bad at his job, very emotionally unhealthy. I'm not sure why he'd be a role model for anybody, but I think it's unlikely to happen because I think you'd have to change the character so dramatically were it a woman. And I think all sorts of societal questions would suddenly be asked about her lifestyle choices. So I agree it's unlikely to happen.
OK, just got to pick you up on one thing there that you said, Rebecca, that James Bond was bad at his job. I think he's pretty good at his job. He's saved the world countless times, hasn't he?
Have you ever watched one of those chase sequences where they drive through some kind of unspecific Middle Eastern town and 45 people are left dead as he crashes his motorbike, throws it at a child, jumps on somebody else's car? Honestly, the wreckage...
Well, he does seem to get away with rather a lot. I'll give you that. He does seem to get away with it.
For the insurance people who are in charge of MI5, they would hate him.
When Bond's insurance claim rocks up, insurance brokers just lose their hair and start sweating profusely. But, Patrick, I'll throw it back to you. OK, so, I mean, I suppose what people might say, then, is that, you know, Bond just is a man. Does it actually matter? Do you think, though, that, frankly, it's all down to ratings, isn't it? So, if it was a female Bond, would fewer people go to cinema and watch it?
What we're probably going to get is not so much a female Bond, but we're going to get a female Bond cinematic universe spin-off, because you've got to remember, Amazon just paid $8.5 billion to buy MGM and the library. Now, they didn't do it for the Pink Panther franchise or for the Rocky franchise. You know, the crown jewel is Bond, and they're going to want to milk that. But Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson have a veto on it. And they're going to rethink that franchise very, very carefully. And they're going to surprise us, not with a female Bond, probably, but in some other ways. So they've already signaled that very, very clearly. But we could be seeing prequels. We could be seeing origin stories. We could be seeing spin-offs. I, for one, would love to see a TV series with Ana de Armas' character from the latest No Time to Die. She's fabulous. You know, she doesn't need to be.
He's in it for like 4 minutes.
Exactly.
Well, it's 4 minutes longer than I've ever had on the silver screen, I'll tell you that much. But, Rebecca, I'll give the final word to you, then. Do you think Bond, as himself, right, a kind of hard-drinking, potentially at times smoking, definitely womanising role model... Well, is it a role model, actually? Should Bond be cancelled?
No, he's not a role model, but I don't know when we decided that in order to be a fictional character, you had to be aspirational or positive. He's a terrible person, but that doesn't mean it's a terrible film. We shouldn't be raising our sons to be like, oh, be more like that. But we should be able to go to the cinema and enjoy watching the story of somebody who isn't saintly. I think, honestly, if they want to make a big change, I love the Daniel Craig interpretation where he had feelings and mental health issues. But actually, if they wanted to make a change, they should go back to the 1960s thing where he's totally one-dimensional, doesn't have any feelings at all, and embrace the toxic masculinity, because he is a terrible person. But why do they have? Why does he?
I suppose it's the trade-off, though, isn't it? You know, like we've all done bad things in a relationship, but then if you clean the dishes and do the hoovering, does that make you a better person? You know, he's done terrible things. He saves the world. Do we let him off? You know, but there we go. Look, both of you, thank you very, very much. I could talk to you all day about this. Great to have you both on the show, and apologies again for butchering both of your names at the start. Even by my standards, that really happens. Yes, is that a martini shaken, not stirred?
Always.
Always, and that's just some water. OK, good stuff. Right, Bond expert Patrick von Sajowski and the author and broadcaster Rebecca Reid. Important that we get that right. Let's bring the panel back in right now. Francine, Bond, woman, no, yes, what do you think?
Well, I don't think Jane Bond has the same ring to it, personally. I think James Bond has to stay a man. I mean, can you imagine a Bond as a female sleeping around with all these men? Should be called a slut, you know, not a stud. And we have to remember that, you know, why change a fantastic recipe that, you know, that's gone on for years? I mean, I have to say, Roger Moore was always my favourite Bond. I just thought he had the charm.
Do you know, I thought I was the same until I watched it recently, and then I realised how bad it is. He was more like, when I was was growing up, it was View to a Kill and all. I thought it was brilliant. You watch it now and it's so bad.
Yes, I know, but his character, he was the charmer. He was the... I just don't know. There was something about him. And, why make it a woman? Are we going to make Lara Croft Liam? Are we going to make Bob the Builder Betsy? Do you know what I mean? How far can we go? I mean, seriously, I'm going to Vanessa Feltz now. I can't help it. But, do you know
No, you're not allowed to say that anymore.
Bond needs to stay Bond and everything needs to stay where it is.
OK, good. That's the first impression. Although, ironically, your impression of Vanessa Feltz will get more viewers on this channel than it would if her doing her actual show on the other channel. Of course, you can't possibly say that. You can't possibly say that on national television. So, do you think, though, that maybe whether or not Bond's a woman is irrelevant, well, it's time for, I don't know, a more diverse Bond? Like a trans Bond or a black Bond or something?
Well, the problem is... But you're changing the story. If you want... a trans spy, then have a trans spy story.
But James doesn't exist, actually.
Well, and fine if it does, but James Bond, it's like, that's just a different story. So write a different story. James Bond is James Bond.
Exactly.
And there's no point changing it. It's like, you made the Incredible Hulk 4'8" and pink. It's not the Incredible Hulk. Yeah. It's a different story.
Well, that's true,
so,
isn't it?
do you see what I mean? It's like...
I do wonder whether or not we've kind of almost entered like a kind of post-truth era now, where it's like, this is what the character was written as, this is exactly how it's supposed to be, but we've got to fundamentally change it. And it just seems like...
No, I don't... You can't change something that's been so successful for so many years.
I mean, technically, Daniel Craig should have been Bond, because in Ian Fleming's books, Daniel Craig's actually a bit too short to be Bond, and he's blonde. So that was... Do you remember when Daniel Craig's like, you can't have a blonde Bond? So in Ian Fleming's book, he's like 6'3" and dark hair. So if you want to change it. But I mean, Daniel Craig turned out well.
Just very quickly then. So your favourite Bond, you were saying, was who?
Well, no one agrees with me,
Roger
but I'm
Moore?
saying... Yeah, no, he was my favourite, not Roger Moore. Yeah, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Who
could be the future Bond? Who could be the future Bond? No one agrees with me. I say Jason Stratton.
Right.
I find him very manly, very sexy, and I think the Duke from Bridgerton. I can't remember his name.
Duke from Bridgerton.
But he would be amazing.
I'd like to see Cillian Murphy from Peaky
Yeah,
Blinders.
that's a good shout. Edward Norton, he's up for it, I think.
Edward Norton, which one's he?
He, what's he been in? Edward Norton.
He's a big guy.
He's quite tall, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, do you know, just before lockdown, I was at an event for the Prince's Trust and I saw Edward Norton talking to Piers Brosnan. And I never normally would do this, but I thought just in case he becomes Bond and with the old Bond, but it was just before social distancing and I felt a bit you couldn't go over. But I think he'd be a great Bond, Edward Norton.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Right, both of you, thank you very, very much. I'm enjoying this so far, actually. But after the break, it will be time for Challenge Christys. And here's a question to get you thinking. Can I just, as a little disclaimer, this week's challenge got weird quick, OK? How much milk does an average dairy cow produce every single day? Is it 2 litres, 8 litres or 28 litres? You are not going to want to miss this. It's possibly, well, I don't know, maybe one of the best and worst moments of my TV career. I'll give you the answer in just 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
On Mark Dolan tonight, too many in the media and in the financial markets want nothing more than for Britain to fail. My Mark Meets guest is the brain surgeon who believes he's found the cure for baldness. Plus my all-star panel, tomorrow's papers, and in my take at 10, why we should follow Denmark and scrap the vaccine for healthy under 50s. And in the big question, can Liz Truss bounce back from this current crisis? We'll debate that with two top economists and a woman who knows all about leadership, local government legend Jackie Weaver. See you at 9.
OK, welcome back, everybody, to the one and only Friday night feast. I'm really enjoying it this evening, actually. Before the break, I asked you this pretty straightforward question. How much milk does an average dairy cow produce every single day? Is it 2 litres? Is it 8 litres? Is it 28 litres? And the answer is 28 litres. That can't be right. There's no way a cow produces 28 litres. Anyway, there we go. Well done if you got that right at home. No, of course, if you did know it, I'd have to question why. Anyway, it leads me very neatly on to one of the more bizarre Challenge Christys or things I've ever done in my life, actually. It is indeed Challenge Christys. This is the part of the programme when I show everyone just how brilliant I am at, well, absolutely everything. And last week I became only the second man in history to save a penalty from football icon Matt Le Tissier. And in a few moments, you'll find out what I've been up to this week. But as well as keeping you all entertained, I'm also raising money for a very worthwhile cause, OK? So back in April, I danced with a couple of dream boys who are a group of male strippers. Yep, you heard. And if you're watching on GBNews TV or our YouTube channel, I'm sure that you'll agree that I've got some pretty good moves. But when it came to the big moment, I bottled it and I said, right, OK, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lose a shed load of weight and I'll get on stage with you and do all that. Anyway, so I've lost 1.5 stone. I've lost 1.5 stone. Oh. Yeah, thank you. Good grief. Honestly, this... Oh, right, anyway. So hopefully we're going to get on stage with the Dream Boys at some point soon. But I'm not doing it for free. I'm raising money for the charity Mind. And it is justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. We're up to 22,250 quid. It'd be nice if we could get to, I don't know, 22,700 quid this show or something like that. So it's justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. Thank you to everyone who's donated. I do promise you at some point I will get on stage with the Dream Boys and get my kit off. There's been what we call in the trade logistical nightmares so far. Anyway, justgiving.com/fundraising/Challenge Christys. Right, without any further dither and delay, it's time for this week's challenge. And yes, OK, all right, the week before I went and saved a penalty from Matt Le Tissier, and this week's isn't quite as glamorous as all of that, but it was a lot of fun. Here's how I humiliated myself. Well, hello, everybody. Yes, this is the latest instalment of Challenge Christys, and it's fantastic to be out here in the country with all these wonderful country smells. And I can see here that I'm at a farm. So that's a good start. And they've been kind enough to bring some of my best mates with me. Look over here. Let's introduce you to them. This one here, peppercorn. We love a bit of peppercorn, don't we? Bordelaise are my personal favourite with a side of triple cooked chips. So here we go. I think without further dither and delay, it's time to find out what I'm actually doing at this farm, shall we? So there we go. OK. Well, it's got a picture of a cow on it, so we're very on brand already. Let's have a look. I've just thought, it's not calving season, is it? I'm not going to end up shoulder deep in one of the... You know what? They'd be lucky. OK, let's find out. Big reveal time. That is better than birthing one of them. Let's milk a cow. Right then, people, it's cow... Do you mind? It's cow time. And who am I with and where are we?
I'm Charlotte Hamlin, and this is Westwood Farm, and these are our Holstein herds.
No, you've got to come and have a look at these, people, OK? So we've got some little babies here, haven't we?
These ones were all born at the weekend.
These are dairy, I take it?
So these are our dairy Holstein heifers.
And this one over here?
This is an Angus, so this is a beef animal.
Oh, but look at it.
How could you ever eat that kind of one?
Very tasty. And what are we looking at there, then? What makes that a particularly prized cow?
So she's a nice straight back.
Yeah.
She's nicely tempered, and she walks really well. It's a bit odd to say, but yeah.
See, I could never be a prized cow. Well, I'm not nicely tempered. I don't tend to walk very much in straight lines, especially not after 12 o'clock. But it's not these ones I'm going to be milking, is it?
No, it's not these ones. If I take you through here, I can show you where we are.
Fantastic. So come on through, people. I'm going to meet the cows. Right, OK, the issue that I've got here is that those ones, very small.
Them ones are very different.
They're massive. Just heard a couple of stories about people being trampled by cows and stuff. One of the issues with me not knowing where I was going is I haven't got any wellies.
Oh, no, not white socks.
Will this be all right, do we think? It's not particularly
It's not
mucky,
that dirty. This yard's quite clean, so you should be
I've got to go back to the office after this. Everyone's going to get a shock, aren't they? Right, let's crack on and milk some cows. I feel a bit surrounded. There's a whiff to that as well. Right, so then the cows come through here. It's just non-stop, isn't it?
Come on. Ooh, mind your back.
Easy, Tiger. They head round, do they, to...
Yeah, so they head round to the parlour.
Brilliant. All right, well, I'll tell you what, while they're being led through, shall I start mucking some stuff out?
Yeah,
Right, I've got to earn my keep here, OK? Is that the accelerator, is it?
That's the brake.
All right.
That's the accelerator.
Oh. It's yet another health and safety nightmare here at GB News on Challenge Christys. I must say, I'm quite impressed with this, because I've never driven a tractor before.
I was going to say, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah?
And then all the way to the top again.
Back. This is great. There's no wing mirrors or anything. All the way. Yeah?
Perfect.
And it's go, go, go at the Monaco Grand Prix. This really is the only way to travel on the farm. I could get used to this. Yeah.
There you go.
OK. Oh, look at it, it's clean. Are you covered in poo? I've covered her in poo. Oh, no. OK, so it appears to be quite literally the business end of this challenge now. I think it's almost time to get milking. Charlotte, just talk me through what's going on here.
So we get the cows in, so they all come in from where we got them out.
Yeah.
And then they all come in, so we'll strip out to start off with. So we take the first bit of milk out.
Oh, so they're ready to go.
Yeah, and we press start.
Yeah.
And then it literally is a... And then you'll start seeing the milk going in there.
OK. So basically, I suppose, ladies and gentlemen, this is Challenge Christys. Can I get some of these things on a cow?
Well, we've got another part of your challenge. You're hand milking a cow for us.
What?
So I'll take you to your cow we picked out.
No, sorry, just a second, because you're saying to me now that I'm going to hand milk one of these.
Yes.
Did you know about this? Right, OK.
It'll be fun. We've got a calm cow. We've got a very nice cow.
You got a calm cow?
Yeah.
Let's go and meet the cow.
Let's go and show you the cow.
A rather big cow.
She's docile.
I can't help but notice that she's got some lovely rosettes here.
So she went to Edinburgh and Oxford show and won in her class that then qualified her to a national
So
final.
this is a competition cow?
That is a competition cow.
It's a prize cow?
Yes.
You don't shake the hoof?
No, just stroke on the head. She's like a pet, like a dog.
Oh. So what we got here? First where?
So that's Edinburgh and Oxford, it's our club calf show for
So
Holstein.
was she a calf when she won that?
Yes.
So she was a child star? And then 15th, what happened there? Did you have to give her a little pep talk after that?
No,
Come on,
that was
bring
at
your
an
A game.
all-breeds national show. So she went up against Ireland, Scotland, Wales.
I think it's time that you show me the process of milking.
Yeah?
Yeah?
OK, I will
all right.
get my bucket and my stool for you. And then you just, one finger, or the thumb and your finger, and then into the bucket.
OK, G-Drops, it's just you and me, OK? We're going to milk like you've never been milked before. All those people at home now who think it's utterly unbelievable. We're going right to the top. You've got your rosettes on, OK? You did well at the national championships. Well, now you're on national television. We're going to be a tremendous team, OK? We're going to be like Mike Tyson, Custer Marco. We're going to be like Alex Ferguson and Ryan Giggs, Torval and Dean, but milkier, OK? We're going to do this. I believe in you. Do you believe in me? I think you do. We're going to do this. Yeah! I must admit, I've done many things in my Challenge Christys career. I've landed an aeroplane very badly. I've done a loop-the-loop. I tried some Irish dancing. I've done all sorts. Never milked a cow. So, let's crack on. Oh, this feels a bit weird. OK, so, in we go there. I start at the top.
Yeah, to start.
It's not off to a good start. Yeah, OK, start at the... Do you think you can smell fear? No? OK. Right. OK, start at the top and... Someone turn the cow back on, please. What am I doing wrong?
So you literally, hold there.
Yeah.
And then squeeze down.
How do you do that? Good girl. Let's go. I think I've got this now. So hold at the top here, squeeze.
There
Oh,
you
no,
go.
we've got milk! Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. Oh, I think I'm getting this now. So if you really kind of ease it in here, and then down. Yeah, see, here we go. OK, ease it in, bit of a squeeze. Oh, there we go. I mean, oh, there you go. So what's just happened there is that Dewdrop's attacked our cameraman. And maybe me. That's all right. Hey, it's fine. OK, I think that she's had enough. Right, well, this has been Challenge Christys, and as you can see, we've, in a way, milked a cow. How do you think I've done?
Very good.
Yeah,
You've done well. The way she's being and tried to kick, she's done very well.
Well, there's only one thing for it, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? We've got to see how Dewdrop did for us. So, yeah, looks good. Looks good. I see, it tastes even better. Fantastic. Well done, Dewdrop. Come on. Let's get you home. That's enough milking for one day. You're the only prize-winning cow in my life, especially since I dumped my axe. Come on. There we go. Well, there we go. That was a bit grim, wasn't it, all in all? But actually, I did, rather well, I think it's fair to say. Whether or not Dewdrop thought so is, well, that's a matter for Dewdrop. But if you are listening on GB News Radio, you can watch that challenge right now on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and also on Twitter. There's no doubt that the star of that show, down at the farm, was Dewdrop. But I couldn't have done all of that without the help of Charlie Hamlin, who joins me now. Charlie, thank you so, so much. I must say that you really did make that a fantastic experience for me, and you helped me out a lot. And you put up with me trying and for quite a long time failing to milk Dewdrop. How did I do?
You did really well. She was being a bit mistempered that day, obviously, with the kicks and the flecking of the tail. But you did very well to keep on and carry on doing it.
OK, and, I mean, would you say I was a natural?
Once you got going, you suddenly knew what you're doing and you got going. But more work on it, I would say. You're always welcome to come down and have a go
a little bit about what your day-to-day like is at the farm, where the farm is. You've got a farm shop and all of this stuff, haven't you, as well? So why don't you run our viewers and our listeners through exactly what you guys do? Because when you're not prattling around with me, you actually do a lot of very serious work, don't you?
So during the week, we twice a day milk all the cows, and obviously we've got our own tractors and equipment, so we go off to other farms and do their foraging and other work for everyone, as well as obviously the farm shop. So we run a farm shop with all of our own homegrown beef and lambs and pork that we run hopefully once every 2 months, 3 months. So we've got another one coming the 9th and 10th of December that we'll be running with beef, lamb and pork, and we just bring it back to local and homegrown produce that we show our heart in. So
good stuff, Charlie. And of course, Charlie, it's important to state for our viewers and our listeners that Dewdrop is a prize-winning cow, isn't she?
Yes, she was part of a show team 2 years ago that we took to a show, and did very well. I was very proud of her.
Lovely stuff, Charlie. Thank you very much. Charlie Hamlin, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to show me round and then come on the show as well. We were supposed to do that a few weeks ago, but then stuff happened, like the Queen dying, so we had to, do more important things than me milking a cow. But Challenge Christys is so much fun, and that's down to you, because you come up with some brilliant suggestions for what I should do every single week. If it wasn't for pilot David Donovan, for instance, I wouldn't have had to land an aeroplane or do a loop-the-loop in an aeroplane. Email me at patrick@gbnews.uk. If you can organise anything, then basically that's even better, because it saves me a job, so you might as well do all the hard work for me. Who knows? I might be able to meet you lucky people. OK, well, that was, I think, in many senses, a difficult watch.
It was. I mean, I don't know if it was a challenge for you. The challenge for the cameraman, the under the udder angle was awful.
What I want to know is, who was the first person to milk a cow, and what did they think was going to happen?
Or the first person to eat a snail.
Yeah.
But I think I've been desperate at times, so I've never walked past a snail and gone, you'll do. Bit of garlic, bit of lemon, You've got to be absolutely famished to look at a snail and think, oh, I'll have a bit of you,
Exactly.
mate.
Oh, I couldn't eat a snail.
No.
Definitely not.
Milking a cow is actually a lot harder than it looks. right? For a while, I was starting to think that they'd conned me with a kind of, like, I don't know, like a milkless cow or something. But it was really... You really had to give it a took. And what we didn't show on that, because of the editing, was some of the looks that the cameraman and I would share as I'm desperately trying to milk the cow.
You didn't hold eye contact while you were doing it, did you?
We did for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Was it a bit nerve-wracking just being next to such a big animal? I just wondered, like...
Well, luckily, as a prize-winning cow, Dewdrop is given various different rosettes.
Do you know, Rebecca from earlier is getting really annoyed that you keep getting Dewdrop's name right, but you didn't get Rebecca. I just noticed that Dewdrop's getting all the kudos.
Yes, that's true, actually. That's true. I do feel sorry about that. Because the thing is, I've interviewed her loads of times as well. I know what
That was the last time.
That was the last... Tell you what, that did not go down well, did it? Anyway, there we go. Right, now it's time for Patrick's Hat Trick, where I show you 3 social media videos that have caught my eye over the last week. So, let's do the first one, shall we? Where else can we start but with the policeman who fell off a fence? Sit back and enjoy.
Go on. Yeah, careful. Oh. Are you OK?
Well, if you're listening on radio, that's a policeman falling off a fence. You love to see it. Right, and as all great sports commentators would say, let's look at that again, but this time in slow motion. Oh, there he is, look at him. He's mounted the fence. Oh, and stacked it. Stacked it right over. It reminds me a bit of that Alan Partridge one. Lynn, I've pierced my foot on a spike. That's what it kind of looks like there, but there we go. Right, OK, so the police officer, who is a special constable, puts the word special into that, I think, is now known as Mr. Tumble. So he's spotted a suspicious package, but it was actually a bag full of leaves. There we go, yes. So that's seriously why he decided to climb over the fence and then fall over. It was because he thought he saw a suspicious package, which turned out to be a bag full of leaves. But there we go. Someone's got to do that job. Anyway, Joe Biden has said some pretty weird things recently, but this next video is right up there. The US president presented Sir Elton John with a National Humanities Medal to recognise the singer's efforts to fight the spread of AIDS. But check out what Joe Biden actually said.
By the way, it's all his fault that we're spending $6 billion in taxpayer money this month to help AIDS fight HIV/AIDS.
Not the best turn of phrase.
I get a bit tense watching him now. You know, in the last few years of Strictly with Brucey, and you were like, "What's?" I'm on that sort of. I'm just willing it to be all right, but yeah, that was.
Well, he's not all right, is he?
I know, but look, he's getting on. He's getting on. We've got to give him. He's got.
I don't know, do we? I mean, he stood for election, right, as the leader.
I know, but I think he's too old, personally. Yeah. I do. I've always.
I mean, it's one thing mucking up your banter with Tess on Strictly, but when you're the most powerful man in the world, you should.
I know.
Just
what
Joe
embarrassing moment.
Joe Biden trying to get off stage is just an unrelenting circus, isn't it? Of him, it's like just what you finish your speech now, Joe. You do this every day. Every day, just walk off the. Whoa, he's gone for a wander. He's gone for a wander. You know?
I just wonder what Sir Elton John was thinking when he said that, like, what was going through his head.
His face.
His face all said it all.
His face did betray him a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, basically, although...
I think he stopped breathing for a moment or two.
I mean, it was a poor turn of phrase from President Biden, who, I mean, if you took it quite literally, it was essentially accusing Elton John of spreading AIDS all around the world. So that's not really great, is it? But there we go. Thank you very much. Yeah, he's got glasses on. He's like, yes, OK, that's an absolutely terrible... The thing is with Joe Biden as well, it looks now like it hurts him to think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Whenever he talks, he's like, oh, but anyway... There we go. Right, OK, so that was Joe Biden essentially accusing Elton John of giving AIDS to the world. There we go. But the final part of Patrick's Hat Trick this evening is a really heartwarming tale all the way from Australia. So Australian rules team, the Geelong Cats, had just won the grand final when their skipper, Joel Selwood, decided to get Sam Morfoot involved in the celebrations. Well, Morfoot, who suffers from Down syndrome, is the team's water boy. And Selwood picked out the Cats fan in the crowd, lifted him out of the stand and basically got him involved. I think that's really nice, isn't it? Morfoot later said that it was the best day of his life, and Geelong player Jeremy Cameron even let him wear his winner's medal. That's good. See, some sports players do still have a heart.
I think that's lovely. That's really, really lovely to watch. It kind of warms your heart, doesn't it?
It does.
Because this game is a bit like rugby, isn't it?
A bit.
It's quite rough, isn't it?
It is.
So, yeah, so you don't expect these guys to be that warm and that sweet, I guess. But they do say, actually, with rugby, it's a gentleman's game.
It's a gentleman's sport, don't they? That's what they say.
That's nothing like rugby. I've been in that stadium. It's the MCG in Melbourne. I lived there, and the more I watched Australian rules, the less I understood it. It became a book. You know, sometimes when you're reading a book and there's a word you can't pronounce, but you just sort of make it up in your head and you go along. I was like that with Australian rules football. I'm like, I'm making up my rules as I go along here. I don't know what's happening.
Well, it's just chaos, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It's just violence. It's legalised violence.
Yeah,
as far as I can see.
But it's lovely to pick. I mean, that's a huge stadium for a huge moment for the team, and to pick him out, it's lovely. Yeah, 90,000 people in that stadium.
OK, right, well, loads more to come your way as we approach the final hour of this show. Between 8 and 9, I'll talk to the man who was beaten up by a Hollywood star and find out why a squirrel caused a branch of Greg's to close for almost a week. And, of course, we'll try to rehome a rescue dog in Dog of the Week. I'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Don't you dare move.
We are GB News.
And we'd like to say thank you
to each and every one of you
for helping our great nation
find its voice.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Across England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland.
On TV,
on radio
and online.
We're proud to be
the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
On the Mark Steyn Show, we cover the stories a lot of people are scared even to mention. The stuff that really matters with some of the world's biggest thinkers.
Now is his opportunity to kind of take the steering wheel of history.
Break away from the flock at 8 o'clock on GB News with the Mark Steyn Show.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club. Oh my goodness, brilliant. And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Welcome back to Friday Night Feast with me, Patrick Christys. 1 hour down, 1 to go, and we've got loads coming your way, including Patrick's fake news, where I make up a story and basically try to fool the great British public. And there's a story of the cat that gate-crashed Picture Day at a primary school. Of course, we will try to give a rescue dog a fresh start, a second chance at life in our ever-popular feature, Dog of the Week. So popular that another rival news channel has copied it with Cat of the Week, but we saw straight through that. Anyway, that's all on the way very, very soon. But first, here are the latest headlines brought to you this evening by that girl who used to work on this show, and then she decided that she was destined for better things, and so she wrote a really angry letter to us all and left.
That is not true. Thank you, Patrick. I'm Tatiana Sanchez in the GB newsroom. NATO's Secretary-General says Russia's annexation of 4 areas of Ukraine is in total violation of international law and that it's the most serious escalation since the war began. President Vladimir Putin announced Moscow would take control of the regions across southern and eastern Ukraine after so-called referendums held there. Jens Stoltenberg says Putin's action should be rejected by all countries around the world.
The sham referendums
were engineered in Moscow and imposed on Ukraine in total violation of international law. This land grab is illegal and illegitimate. NATO allies do not and will not recognize any of this territory as part of Russia.
The Office for Budget Responsibility says it will deliver its initial forecast on the impact of the government's policies on the 7th of October. It follows a meeting this morning with the Prime Minister and Chancellor in an attempt to reassure financial markets. Liz Truss and Kwasi Kwarteng have faced criticism amid rising mortgage bills and instability after last Friday's mini-budget announcement. While one of Truss's ministers says anyone paying attention to the Tory leadership election would know she'd planned to cut taxes. Bones believed to be the potential remains of Keith Bennett, a victim of Ian Brady, and Myra Hindley have been found in a remote location on the Saddleworth Moors. They were discovered in the Peak District by an author researching the 12-year-old's murder. Greater Manchester Police says it's far too early to be certain whether they're human remains. Brady and Hindley murdered 5 children in the mid-1960s, with 3 of the victims found. An online safety bill amendment will be brought forward to help bereaved parents access information about social media companies. It comes following the inquest into the death of Molly Russell. The inquest concluded the 14-year-old's death was caused by an act of self-harm and she suffered from depression. The coroner found Molly had been a frequent user of Instagram and Pinterest, viewing thousands of posts related to depression, self-harm or suicide. Coroner Andrew Walker said algorithms meant she was exposed to further images she had not requested. A spokeswoman for Meta said they'd continue to work to ensure they offer the best possible protection and support for teens. President Joe Biden is warning the damage from Hurricane Ian is likely to be among the worst in US history. It first hit Florida 2 days ago, killing at least 21 people. More than 2 million homes and businesses have been left without power, and thousands along the Gulf Coast have been stranded by extreme flooding. The storm has now made landfall for a second time in South Carolina, bringing winds of up to 85 miles per hour.
My message to the people of South Carolina is simple. Please listen to all the warnings and directions from local officials and follow their instructions. And as you all know, the situation in Florida is far more devastating. We're just beginning to see the scale of that destruction. It's likely to rank among the worst of the nation's and the worst in the nation's history.
TV, online and DAB+ radio. This is GB News. Now it's back to Patrick and the Friday Night Feast.
OK, welcome back. So 20 puppies have been rescued by the RSPCA after they were abandoned next to a busy road in Essex. The dogs were left in a crate in a lay-by. Unfortunately, one of the dogs was so weak that vets did decide that it had to be put to sleep. But the other 19 pups are now in foster care, and I'm delighted to say many of the puppies have been offered permanent homes. And I'm joined now by Lucy Bailey from the RSPCA. Thank you very, very much. Great to have you on the show. So talk to me about this then. Quite shocking, really. So 20 puppies, was it, dumped by a motorway in Essex?
It was 20. We got a call from a member of the public who was really kind in calling us after having discovered the pups. As you said, they were in a metal crate, 20 of them, a huge number. We think possibly from 2 or 3 different litters, all cockapoo, poodle-type puppies. We got there, one of our inspectors got there. When we got there, one of the pups was unfortunately very, very poorly and was being sort of cradled by a member of the public who was at the scene. We managed to take the remaining, we took all of the dogs away to receive veterinary care. As you said, one didn't make it, but the remainder did.
They did, and they've got homes, the vast majority of them, have they?
They have. I mean, the vets did a phenomenal job with them. Obviously, having 19 pups in one go at one time was a lot to look after. And there was the concern at first that the dogs had parvovirus, which was one of the reasons we think they might have been dumped. But luckily, they didn't turn out to have that. They had some worms. Other than that, they were all in a reasonable condition. So they were all fostered and they've all been rehomed. But sadly, it's not an isolated incident. It's something that we are seeing time and time again. Maybe not on that scale in terms of 20 at one time, but it's certainly not, unfortunately, an isolated incident. No.
Is it illegal to dump your dog by the side of the road?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, they it was a completely irresponsible thing to do, and they could have been, if they hadn't been found, anything could have happened to them. They were really, really tiny puppies. I mean, each of them weighed less than a bag of sugar, so they were really, really vulnerable. We did put out an appeal to try and trace the owner. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful. But it's incredibly irresponsible to leave really, really vulnerable young animals like that to a really uncertain fate. And we're just really grateful that the member of the public spotted them, stopped, and called us.
Just lastly, Lucy, are you seeing more dogs being handed into yourselves as a result of this cost of living crisis?
Yes, we are. And I think that's probably the same right across the board for all animal welfare charities at the moment. It's a really, really tough time for people. We're seeing more animals coming into our care, animals being relinquished than ever before. And unfortunately, at the same time, adoptions are slowing down because people are, thinking twice now about getting a pet. Is it the right time to be committing to an animal with everything else that's going on with the cost of living? So it's really a double whammy. We've got more animals coming in, but we've got less animals going out. And I think that's probably something that's not just being experienced by the RSPCA, but by animal welfare charities across the board. And it is a very worrying time at the moment, yeah.
All right, Lucy Bailey there from the RSPCA. Thank you, and thank you for all the great work that you do as well. We're going to move away from that now. We're going to talk about what happens when a sales manager meets a famous Hollywood actor. Well, obviously, they have to have a fight. So Tom Hardy is the famous Hollywood actor. He's the one in the blue there, I believe. And he took on Andy Leatherland, the People's Champ, in the final of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament in Milton Keynes earlier this month. Now, unfortunately, Hardy won. I think it's fair to say that he stole that victory from Andy. Andy was robbed. But the actor started to learn basic martial arts in 2011. That was when he was filming Warrior. And he was also trained in mixed martial arts and in boxing. So Hardy also won a jiu-jitsu tournament in Wolverhampton last month. Presumably it's only a matter of time before he's defending his crown in Slough or somewhere like that. But I'm delighted to say that Andy Leatherland joins me now. Andy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. What does Tom Hardy smell like?
A lot of people have asked me that. I'll be honest, I don't remember at all.
You were just in the zone?
I was in the zone. I mean, the first time you see him, you can't help but notice that it's him.
Right.
You try and block it out. You do try and block it out, but suddenly it's him. And the moment the match starts, you kind of grab hold, everything kind of goes
How
back.
did he win? I think you were hard. Why did...
Yeah.
So it didn't look cut and dry.
It was pretty even. So I'll give him his dues. He's better than me. He got a leg lock, so he wraps my leg, goes down.
I mean, who's coming out of that work? I don't know. I think you look more.
So I felt all right at that particular moment. But what you see is my my left leg. He's about to grab it. He knows what he's doing. So you ready? There you go. And at that point, I couldn't get his leg off. He was quick. He went for it.
You had to tap?
Yes, I had to tap. Otherwise...
Do you regret that now?
No, because the alternative would have been significantly worse for me.
You just stop there for 10 minutes?
Yeah, just... no, it's very painful. It's very, very good. He did say late he was slightly opportunistic, but he knew what he was doing. But, you know...
What was he like as a guy?
So if you see... I don't know if there's the show afterwards. I mean, that... It's jiu-jitsu, that's all over. And he was, at that point, saying thank you. I said exactly the same to him. We walked off, and we were getting our medals, and we were just chatting to him, and he was saying that even though his life's on screen, that he's in front of the cameras, he said it's very, very nerve-wracking doing jiu-jitsu.
Really?
You line up, because it's just you against someone else. He goes, it's very primal, it's very raw. It's, you know, and you've got to be defending, so you can block out it being a Hollywood star. Obviously, not me.
Would you fight him again?
So, again, a few people have said that, yes. The opportunity was quite limited, so we're the same weight, belt and age. He is, I think, going to probably get promoted to his purple belt very soon, because he's good. And also, he will go up an age category, I think, from January. So I've either got to get older very quickly, which is unlikely, or I've got to kind of catch up him in belt. But we were kind of the same. So it's a perfect storm, really, for this one.
Well, Francie, would you have let Tom Hardy manhandle you like that?
100%. And I'm sure his smell was just amazing sweat. Yeah, no, definitely. He could have wrestled with me any time. But he's actually one of my favourite actors, actually.
Yeah.
And the fact that you said he was really nice makes me just feel like I love him even more. Because isn't that just amazing when you love someone, you think they're brilliant, you know, on screen, they look amazing, and then they are when you meet them.
Isn't he favourite to be Bond at the moment as well?
Is he? He's favourite for everything.
Why did we think of Tom Hardy?
I mean, imagine if he becomes Bond,
Well, this is it. So I can say I fought James Bond.
Yeah.
That would be, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's an accolade.
Can't say you beat him, though.
No, I can't, but I'll take that for what it is. I'll take that for what it is.
No, absolutely. And so he was quite a nice guy all in all. But how did you find out that Tom Hardy was actually there? Did you realise it was the Tom Hardy?
So we knew that he'd fought in Wolverhampton, and so it all went round. And the joke was going round of going, if he did, who could compete with him? And again, I've got the 3 attributes that were necessary. So we were looking at the local competitions on my doorstep, and then one morning, he was registered under Edward Hardy.
Really?
Yeah, so is that him? So we checked it all out, and it was him. And he was in the same group, and you could see loads of people kind of knew about it. But then it's the permutations. I could only meet him in the final if I won my match. So he's won his first match, I've then won mine, and so then I'm waiting for my opponent. He won his second match, and then it's me and him. So
it's you and him.
It was me and him. It was 4 or 5 deep. I couldn't see the first match. I'm not particularly tall, so I couldn't see over people. And so everyone's got their phone. Everyone's cheering for Tom. Little old me.
Were you slightly nervous? Like, were you nervous?
So I'm always nervous. Doing these, done competitions, always nervous. But that's just added. That's something different. And everyone was looking for him, and you could see other people who were around were stopping to watch him. I mean, there's even the murmur, Tom's here, Tom's here. You know, and people were now kind of trying to follow him.
You needed supporters like the Karate Kid. You needed somebody you needed someone by the mat going, sweep the leg, Andy, sweep the leg.
Was there a part of you that thought, do you know what, he's got all his supporters here, Tom Hardy, let him win?
Just say
I have been accused of that. No, I didn't let him win. The only thing and it's not regret, but it's like, what if I'd won? What if I'd actually kind of beaten him? But no,
we had a confetti cannon lined up outside earlier waiting for you. We had a medal ceremony, there was a band and all of that, but maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I would like to
Tom
fight
Holland
again.
next time, that would be easy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Worryingly. He's young and he's fit and everything.
No, fantastic. Well, look, thank you very much, Andy, and thank you for taking the time to come into the studio.
Thank you.
And well done, genuinely.
Thank
Great.
you.
And you're clearly a very good sport as well. So that's Andy Leatherland there. Joining me now. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a little bit of this. OK, post-person Pat, yes, again, it's just the right side of copyright law, so you can all back off. Thanks to everyone who's got in touch this evening. This is where I read out some of your views, people who've been emailing in, etc. Earlier on, we looked ahead to the Conservative Party conference after the GB News' People's Poll found that Labour had a 30-point lead. Graham says, I wouldn't vote this kind of Labour in a million years. The economy has not tanked. This is simply a narrative created by Tony Blair. Blair is responsible for a lot of things, Graham. Whether or not he's specifically responsible for this, I'm not sure, but it's exactly the same tactic he used last time. Divide and conquer. Wow, strong stuff. We also did discuss whether or not the actor who plays James Bond could be a woman. Well, Jip says there was a female James Bond. Remember? Modesty Blaze? Just gone straight over my head, that. No? Anyone? No? No, I don't remember that. But anyway. Whilst Andrew says, no, 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 Ian Fleming wrote about a man, not a woman. You wouldn't have Larry Croft, I see what he did there. I see what he did there. End of conversation. Yeah, it's not the kind of, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve territory, that, isn't it?
Isn't Indiana Jones just the male Lara Croft? Isn't it?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Or is she the female?
Well, yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK, well, fair enough. Well, we're still not going to have a female Bond, not my watch. Anyway, after the break, I will talk about the woman who went to hospital after an unbelievably unpleasant experience involving a dog. Yeah, it's quite dog-heavy, this hour, actually. And there's not get your minds out the gutter. And there's the squirrel who forced a Greggs shop to close for almost a week. Yes, it's almost time to have a good rummage around your past where we find the very best from local news stories. I'll see you in 2.
We are GB News.
And we'd like to say thank you
To each and every one of you.
for helping our great nation.
Find its voice.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
On TV.
On radio.
And online.
We're proud to be the People's Channel, Britain's
News channel.
On the Mark Steyn Show, we cover the stories a lot of people are scared even to mention. The stuff that really matters with some of the world's biggest thinkers.
Now is his opportunity to kind of take the steering wheel of history.
Break away from the flock at 8 o'clock on GB News with the Mark Steyn Show.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness, brilliant.
And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
OK, people, welcome back. This is Friday Night Feast, and now it's time for Round Your Parts, where we dig deep to find some of the absolute gems of local news. We start up in Scotland. Where else? Where a Greggs bakery was closed for several days because a red squirrel was trapped inside the shop. So the branch in Highland, Perthshire, was closed from Saturday until Tuesday. The protected species was safely removed and returned to woodland. I thought, wasn't there a flavour of crisp that was like red squirrel crisp at one point?
It was hedgehog, wasn't there?
Hedgehog.
I'm surprised they're promoting the fact that they've got wildlife in there. Don't fancy going for a pasty.
No.
And also, why 3 days? They just wanted the time.
Yeah.
You can get a squirrel out.
Well, it's not such a tragedy if Greggs were closed for those amount of days.
It is for someone who wants a steak bake for 99p.
Do you know what? I've got to say,
Do you know
I'm
what I mean?
a GC 40 years old. I was devastated. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
A squirrel of all things.
But just a red squirrel. But this is it. I mean, HS2 gets held up because there's like a rare newt at some point in some field, and they've got to do it a type of barn owl or something like that. And now you like you said there, you can't get a really cheap pasty because there's a red squirrel in there. I believe This is now footage of the squirrel being released. Oh. Look at it run away. I tell you what, though, I do enjoy the old release videos where there's like a family in America that have spent ages nursing this squirrel back to health, and then they open the box outside and their cat, who's been looking at it for like 6 months, like, I'm going to have you, mate. I'm going to have you, and just gets it straight away. But anyway, there we go. OK, right, well, moving on now. In North Wales, going all around the UK, Ziggy the cat was the best star of the show on Picture Day at a primary school. Emma Roberts was left in hysterics when she received portrait photos of her 2 kids and her cat. Head teacher Mark Biltcliffe has said it's impossible to keep Ziggy off the school grounds, so they've just accepted defeat and welcomed the cat with open arms. Oh, did you always dread a photo day at school, Greg?
I didn't mind the photo day, but there was nothing more exciting than a cat or a dog getting in the playground, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The entire school running after a cat and a dog.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of any school day, wasn't it?
I imagine your school pictures are very glamorous.
I used to like a school picture, I have to say. Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, I've always been partial to a photo, Patrick.
Yeah.
Haven't changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, if there was like a little animal, although I was always scared of cats. I'm all right with them now, but I always was a little bit terrified
I'm
of
still a bit
cats.
scared.
Are you?
Because
Why?
they could just
Just a
jump
bit-
at you at any time
Yeah.
and just claw you. They're actually vicious.
Right. Well, they shouldn't do that, though. I mean, that's not a normal thing, is
They're
it?
not very grateful, are they?
No,
You know what I mean?
no, not at all.
You know, they're not. You know, I don't see what you're getting from a cat.
No, a dog is a different kettle of fish entirely, because a dog, it will love you. You know, you see those ones like veterans coming back from war.
Yeah, dogs
and their
are
dogs.
different.
Did you see on the other Wednesday when they had the procession through up the Mall from the palace? There was a woman on the Mall with her cat.
Really?
Yeah, she had a cat watching the procession. I mean, I presume it might not have been her cat. It might have just been passing and she lifted it up. But I mean, that's put a lot of effort to take your cat to watch the royals.
It is a lot.
To walk a cat and bring it to the Mall.
Well, indeed, yes.
Cute as well, though. Quite a sweet little story, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit sad.
Yeah.
Bit nutty.
Right,
A
OK,
bit
so
crazy.
there's a real animal theme in Round Your Parks today, but I'm afraid this next story isn't quite as nice as the last two. In Bristol, Amanda Gomo woke up to her daughter's dog pooing in her face.
Oh, my Lord.
There we go. So Amanda ran to the bathroom to be sick, but later ended up in hospital for 3 days with a gastrointestinal infection passed on from the pet. Luckily, she's made a full recovery. I'm a bit concerned here because I've got a very, very, very dodgy tummy at the minute.
Yeah, I know. You make
You think
me
that's what's
panic. I'm a
happened?
bit close to
Maybe
you.
You're not doing much for your campaign to get dogs housed, by the way, with this.
No. It'll poo in your
Patrick,
face.
how did the dog poo in her face? I don't understand.
Well,
Yeah.
when a doggy loves an owner very much. No, I think it probably just... I mean, we know how it did it, don't we? You know?
Well,
Yeah, but my dog
did it
loves me,
choose
but
to
he's
do it?
never...
I don't think it's a sign of affection. I don't think it's supposed to be like, oh, look how much my dog loves me. I'm covered in poo. Yeah. But,
that's a really strange angle you just took there. I don't know what...
Well, having said that, animals do weird things. So I've just got a hamster called Sheila, right? So...
You named your hamster Sheila?
Sheila's Wheels.
Okay.
Yeah? Yeah. And so Sheila is doing her own thing. And one day I go in to give her a quick stroke and she goes into a, burrowy bit and comes out with a mouthful of poo and just starts throwing it at me.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently that's...
Is that because it loves you?
Apparently, it's to
Sheila's
define-
happy to be housed?
To define where its territory is, and it's as far as it can fling it, which is a long way. But it's mesmerising. When you're watching it in real life, you cannot look away.
That's quite
You really can't.
disgusting, though.
Yeah. Well, hamsters are, really. But it's all right, shall
Yeah, I've never been a fan of a hamster.
I definitely think I could look away, though. I'm not sure that would...
No, you'd be amazed, mate, because you're watching it, you're like, is this really happening? Is this a thing? But I suppose the upside to it is she'll only be alive for another year.
Who the woman that the dog... That she in the why would she tell people? Who did she tell?
Yeah,
I know.
I
yeah.
definitely would keep that.
Yeah.
I suppose if she's in hospital, she has to.
Well, she told the Bristol Post initially, and then it's escalated. And now here we are on national television.
I would never bring myself to phone the paper. I certainly wouldn't phone the paper over
No,
it.
what I need to do now that I'm battling E. coli in hospital, humiliated, the animal that I raised and loved just pooed in my face, I'm definitely going to tell the world about this. Anyway, in Warwickshire, a gardener who went viral after turning his 10-foot hedge into a middle finger salute now regrets what he's done. Don't apologise. Always double down, mate. Always double down. So Richard Jackson says he wants to burn it, calling the hedge a pain in the backside. The bush had been the subject of a Warwickshire police inquiry, but the village rallied around, another homeowner, and a Save the Bush campaign has been launched. I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't appear to have the full imagery of the middle finger.
Yeah.
But have you ever encountered a particularly massive bush, Greg?
Well, I mean, if I had, there's easier ways than burning it. So why is he going to burn the bush?
I don't know why that's his only option.
Yeah, I mean, if he's obviously got the implements to style it, he's got the implement therefore to...
Well, and
why don't you just cut the finger?
The artistic
Cut the finger,
spark.
yeah.
Yeah, just slice the finger off.
Yeah.
Did he tell the paper about this as well? Is this
Probably.
just all people wanting to get in their local...
They want to be spoken about on GB News.
Maybe this should be a challenge
Friday
for
night
Challenge Christys going forward.
Yes.
It's like, let's see what ridiculous stories I can get into.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're going to beat the poo in the mouth.
No.
personally.
You could get Sheila involved.
Sheila would love it.
Yeah.
Sheila, yeah. We'll get Sheila involved. By the way, if anyone wants a hamster...
No one wants a hamster now.
No, we don't.
You're definitely going to struggle with those dogs now.
Yeah. Well, anyway, finally, almost 12,000 potholes, cracks and other road defects are awaiting repair across Northern Ireland. It's not the most exciting story, but the photo is an absolute cracker. Oh, there we go. Classic man in pothole. There we are. I mean, that is an especially large pothole if you can fit a man in there. I suppose he could just be kneeling down, I don't know. But viewers on GBNews TV or YouTube can see Eamon Fitzpatrick, good Northern Irish name there, looking out of a particularly deep pothole. You know, I mean, this is... The potholes, for me, frankly, are the bane of my existence. Oh, you're driving away, kaboom, you know?
Yeah.
There was a local council near me once that filled them in with Rice Krispies. Seriously?
Really?
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever.
Rod Stewart went out and filled his own in, didn't he, the other week? He's up in Chelmsford and he filled his own. So that's... Rod can do it?
If Rod can do it.
Well, some men like a hole or two, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
He's obviously deep in that hole there and might be enjoying himself.
Yeah, I think he's enjoying it. I mean, he went all the way in it.
He really did.
He really did. Right, on that note. So, it's time now for Christys' courtroom. And I'm being told that I now have to put a wig on, right? So, here we go. Yes, not my idea, this. There we are. OK, right, I think this is to symbolise that I'm a judge, right? Is that right? Yeah. OK, well, this fits like a glove. OK, order. So, the first man in the dock today is Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng. I can't believe this is happening either. A man who some people have accused of tanking the pound. So, his decision to remove the 45% income tax for people who earn over £150,000 a year has been criticised. So was the cap on bankers' bonuses. The pound plummeted against the dollar, though it has recovered in the last few days. What I do here now is basically ask each of my esteemed panellists whether or not they think that he should be found guilty or not guilty of damaging the British economy. Greg?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. We've all been Kwasi, didn't we? It's... Yeah, definitely guilty. Absolutely.
You're saying guilty?
I heard a good analogy the other day with trying to explain what he's doing, and somebody said it's like if you saw a homeless person, it's going up to the big mansion at the end of the road and putting a £20 note in the letterbox because sooner or later it will get to the homeless person. Like it doesn't. It's not. The whole point is it's filtering down. I'm sure there's a way of it getting there sooner.
Yes, I think the close-up of this wig is excellent as well. Francine, do you think Kwasi Kwarteng is guilty or not guilty of wrecking the economy?
Guilty as charged, Patrick.
Guilty, OK.
Yes,
there you go.
Guilty.
We're going two guilty verdicts there for Kwasi Kwarteng. Another defendant in Christys' courtroom is Ian Brown. So he charged over 45 quid for a gig where he turned up without a band and instead sang to backing tracks. Brown is often criticised for having a bad singing voice. You just make your mind up here. Oh, yeah. I do like Ian Brown, but just not there.
No. I mean, it would be a bit disappointing not... I once went to a gig that featured S Club 3.
Really?
But not only that, one of them wasn't there, so it was S Club 2, but it was Jo that wasn't there, and she was the one that sang.
Yes.
So they had to go into the crowd and get the crowd to sing. So
no.
if you think you've got short change with Ian Brown and no band, imagine S Club 2.
So you're a DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah. As well as comedian and... Is there anything you don't do?
No, I don't do anything other than that.
Right, OK.
You sing better than Ian Brown.
I probably could, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I definitely could.
I sang along with S Club 2, so...
Oh, good. Do you do, what is it, Reach for the Stars?
Yep.
One of my favourite songs.
Is it?
No, I've got to tell you, look, you'd have to pay me £45 to go and to watch that, I'm afraid.
Did they know? Did they think there were two...
No, but I mean, that's where he's at now, isn't it? Obviously so skint that he can't afford the band. So he's just thought, well, I'll do the thing for 45 quid. I'll turn up and sing out of tune badly. I mean, you could have just watched that on YouTube, couldn't you? But anyway, there we go. You're a DJ, of course. Would you have paid, Greg, more than 45 quid to see that, do you think?
I've never been a Stone Roses... I wouldn't... Controversially, I don't think I pay 45 quid to see all of them.
Right.
I was an Oasis man, but not a Stone Roses.
OK.
Really.
So you're thinking guilty to violations against the music industry?
Guilty as charged, Patrick.
Guilty as charged. Yes,
Guilty, yeah. Send them down.
Too guilty, send them down. Right, good, the wig's off. Now I hate this thing. Right, OK, so the bad news is it's time for a break, but the good news is there's lots more to come here on Friday Night Feast. In just a couple of minutes, we will meet this week's national treasure and output, or even pull out your heartstrings, apparently, by presenting Dog of the Week. Can you give Kendra a forever home? I'll see you in 2.
We are GB News.
And we'd like to say thank you
To each and every one of you.
for helping our great nation
Find its voice.
We're absolutely everywhere.
Across England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland.
On TV.
On radio.
And online.
We're proud to be
The People's Channel.
Britain's
News Channel.
On the Mark Steyn Show, we cover the stories a lot of people are scared even to mention. The stuff that really matters with some of the world's biggest thinkers.
Now is his opportunity to kind of take the steering wheel of history.
Break away from the flock at 8 o'clock on GB News with the Mark Steyn Show.
Hello, I'm Esther McVeigh.
And I'm Philip Davis.
Whether you're watching or listening on TV, online or on radio, we handpick the latest stories, debates and expert opinions for your weekend. So whether that's politics, news or showbiz, we've got it covered.
Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on GB News.
Join my show Farage, 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there you will get opinion, analysis, debate, and I'll cover stories that nobody else dares to touch. You've been cancelled. Join the club.
Oh my goodness me.
And then for the last 15 minutes, talking pints. We're over a drink. We have a civilised conversation with someone. We very often disagree, but we do it in a grown-up way. Come and join me on Farage.
Hi there, it's Stephen and Anne.
At breakfast from 6 a.m, you'll always be caught up with everything you need to know, the latest headlines, opinions and debates.
We'll bring you the good news and the bad, but most of all, we're here for you.
Remember, send in your views and let us know what you would like us to talk about.
That's because we're your news channel. And every morning at 6 a.m, it's breakfast on GB News.
Welcome back, everybody, to Friday Night Feast. Now, it's time for this week's national treasure, and it is Stephen Collins, who's taking part in a charity walk tomorrow to raise money for cancer research, a cause that is very close to his heart, after losing both his dad and sister-in-law to cancer, sadly. But for Stephen, the walk will be even more challenging, as he's living with cerebral palsy, which makes walking a lot harder for him. But I am delighted to say that Stephen joins me now. Stephen, are you there? Oh, I believe he is there. We're just going to have to hold fire for a quick second, apparently. Whoa, do we get him on the screen then? There we go. Hey, right, OK, Stephen, thank you very much. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Very good, thank you, mate. Very good. So, let's just give you a big round of applause straight away. National treasure. Come on, Stephen. Well done, mate. Right, OK, so just talk me through what you're actually doing for this walk, then, what you're raising money for.
I'm walking 5 miles for Cancer Research UK, and I'm doing 4 miles round Greenway Park, which is 1.1 mile. And then I'm just walking down into the town to the local cancer research shop. Then I'm walking back.
And how long do you think it might take you, or how can people donate as well to give you a bit of money?
The giving page is fundraise.page/Stephen-RS-giving-page.
OK.
Is there any chance put it up on the screen?
I'm sure we can find a way of putting it up on the screen. Can I just say, who are you?
My wife. My wife.
Fantastic. No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So, Stephen, you really want to help raise money for good causes, don't you? And yeah, you must feel really, really good about what you're doing because you are saving lives.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping to do. And I'm hoping, Patrick, that you will sponsor me as well.
Yes. Okay. Absolutely. No. Absolutely. I mean, it does seem like it's quite hard work for you, bless you. But you're doing it. You're doing very, very well. And yes, I'm absolutely certain that I can chuck a few quid your way, and it's all for a good cause. So thank you very much. And Stephen, I just wanted to say that both you and your lovely partner as well, there, who I haven't been able to see yet, but I just wanted to say good. Your wife, yeah, there you go. Yes, good luck, and good luck, and you get a clap on the way out as well as on the way in. You want to see it now? Thank you very, very much. I mean, there you go. And Francine, I mean, this is just a beautiful thing here that Greg is doing. It's
such a beautiful thing. I mean, it's amazing what he's doing. I think any help for cancer research is spectacular. I did a 26-mile walk. It was, it was hell, but it was for such a great cause. And I mean, do you know what? So many people now are being diagnosed with cancer. I mean, it's just crazy. I know so many people that are real. And anyone who helps and can raise money, fantastic. So, national treasure.
Indeed. I'm actually supposed to be running a marathon on Sunday, although with my dodgy tummy, I think I might swerve it now. But, yes, I mean, I'm not raising money for charity. Why would I?
But, if you've got a dodgy tummy, you don't want to be...
No, don't want to pull a Ratcliffe.
That would be...
Yes, although she's dined out off that for years. If it wasn't for what happened in Athens, I mean, would anyone really know who she is?
I think I'd rather anonymity than...
OK, so I've got the link there. I believe it's justgiving.com, and it's for Stephen Collins. So if you go on justgiving.com and type in Stephen Collins, you can donate to this week's National Treasure. Bless him, fantastic stuff. Well, let's get now to one of my favourite bits of the show. You've guessed it, that's right, it's time for Dog of the Week. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, hey, we've been doing this show now for more than 7 months, and in that time we've managed to get one dog rehomed. Yes, a couple more euthanised, but one dog rehomed, and I'm not going to give up. No, that's right. I'm in this for the long haul, ladies and gentlemen. I've got my fingers crossed that one of you lovely people will fall in love with tonight's dog, and there is rather a lot to love. Kendra is approximately 10 years old. She's in Nottingham. She's in kennels there, but the kennels are about to close, OK? So the other dogs have been rescued. Unfortunately, though, Kendra is the only one who is looking for her forever home. To find out a bit more about Kendra, I'm delighted to say that I am joined now by Nina Hasbury, who's a director and trustee of Paw Prints to Freedom. Paw Prints to Freedom are one of our bigger ones that we get on here. You do great work rescuing dogs, rehoming dogs up and down the country. Tell me a little bit about Kendra.
So Kendra has been over here for just over a year now. She came over to kennels in Foster. Like you say, unfortunately, those kennels are not available anymore. So all of her friends have gone off to their forever homes, and poor old Kendra is still there. She's I think it's probably her age that maybe puts people off, but she's such a sweet girl. She really, really does deserve her place by the fire.
About her personality and stuff. Crucial question, is she good on a walk?
She doesn't actually wear a lead at the minute, so no. She could be good on a walk. She's still quite nervous. I think she really just needs that one special person to give her the time and patience that she needs to get her out and get her wearing a lead and to take her out and see the big wide world. Because like I said, she's just in the kennels and the sort of outside areas that she's got there.
Would Kendra get on with a hamster?
I've just got a hamster.
Kendra, yes, could be a playmate for Sheila.
Yeah.
Kendra and Sheila.
I don't know. Has Kendra ever dropped any hints as to whether or not she would like a pet hamster?
They've never said anything about her having like a high prey drive or anything like that. So I'm sure she could, given
It could
sensible
be a match.
introductions.
It could be a match. Yes,
I never thought of a pet having a pet. That's quite an interesting.
Yeah.
What breed is Kendra? I couldn't work out what breed she was.
She's a bit of all sorts. I think she's got German Shepherd, definitely. She's a big girl. So I think a lot of the Romanian dogs do have some kind of Shepherd breed in them. But yeah, she does definitely. Yeah, she's lovely. She really is sweet.
OK, so what kind of home would she want to go to? Do they need to have lots of time, lots of patience? Because they're going to have to try and, essentially teach her to wear a lead and stuff like that. But what kind of home do you think will be best suited for Kendra?
So exactly what you've just said. Somewhere that's just going to have the patience just to let her come out as she feels fit to. Just give her the time. Somebody, maybe like a child-free home, I think, just because she is still quite nervous and kids can be quite loud. She can live with another dog. She gets on better with male dogs than she does with females. So she could live with another male dog. I think another more confident dog would help her to come out of her shell a bit and see that humans really aren't that bad at all.
No, absolutely. And can I just ask, how do you find these dogs in Romania? You just go to Romania with a net, or what happens?
No, we don't. We work with a number of rescuers over there, but we also last year we took over what they have is like public shelters, and they are essentially like dog pounds, but they are also kill shelters. So once they've been there for a certain amount of time and they don't get adopted or taken out of there, then they get put to sleep. Not always in the most humane way either. So we try and get them out as much as we can.
Well, you're doing good work. Dogs right across Romania will be up cupping their paws together for you and all of that stuff. And so thank you very, very much. How can people go on your website? What can they see if they want to go and give Kendra a forever home?
So the website is www.pawprints2freedom.co.uk. We also have our Facebook, which is Paw Prints to Freedom, and we also have the same on Instagram and also Twitter.
Lovely, great stuff. Well, look, thank you very much, and thank you for always taking time out your Friday night to come here on Friday Night Feast as well. We do love to see it. I really do enjoy getting these rescue dogs rehomed. So make sure that you keep us up to date as well, please, with Kendra. And if we do indeed get a forever home, we'd love to hear about it. Thank you very, very much. Right, it's time for a bit of dog chat with the panel now. Francine, you pro dog?
Oh, I love dogs.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got my own dog.
What is it?
He's 10, actually.
Is it a Frenchie?
He's a half Shih Tzu, half Westie, so he's a Shit West.
Oh!
And, he's so gorgeous, he's cute. But he's also very anxious. He gets very nervous, so when I take him out, he only likes to go and walk in certain places, and he's very scared of other dogs, especially bigger dogs. But he's gorgeous. But he's getting old now, he's 10.
Just to ask, is that definitely the name of the breed of that dog? Just because
Shit West.
I did one. You were asking the question we all think.
I'm now going to have to apologise.
No, because he's half and half, so we just name him a Shit West.
Right, that's the third time. Good stuff. OK, so Greg, you're a dog man?
I am. Yeah, I am. We've got a. Well, my family's. Actually, we had a little cockapoodle.
I love cockapoo.
Well, he was called Jack Bauer because we were big 24 fans, and I interviewed Kiefer Sutherland on my radio show and introduced him to Jack Bauer.
Oh.
So we got a picture of Jack Bauer with Jack Bauer.
Oh,
that's
cute.
Yeah. And it always has to be. Sadly, he's not with us now, Jack Bauer. But we always had to be both names as well.
Oh, it's got to be.
You got to have a full name.
I like the idea of a dog having a full human name.
Yeah.
Mine's called Vinny.
Vinny?
But yeah, I know.
Is he hard?
Vinny. Yes, I know.
Does he go?
But no, he's not. He's totally opposite. He's a little wimp, but
Really?
But I did name him after
Brad. Right, OK, good stuff. Well, there's loads more coming here on GB News after all of this. I just want to say thank you to everyone who's been getting in touch with us as well. We discussed earlier who could play James Bond, and this got a lot of people very hot under the collar. Andrew's been on. James Bond can only be a real man, end of. You guys notice about the use of the word real there as well. They should have learnt something from a female Doctor Who. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I'm just wondering, does it really... What? No, you went, are you friends with Doctor Who as well?
No, I don't. I thought Jodie Whittaker has done a good job. By the way, it's not female Doctor Who, because Who isn't the Doctor's surname. It's a female Doctor. It's not... I just can't let that go. It's not Doctor Who. He wasn't the son or daughter of Mr.
So
and
what's
Mrs.
Who, then? Is that a surname?
Well, it's just Who, because you don't know who he is.
Oh, really?
Or she. Yeah. So, it
Oh,
wasn't a
I
female
thought-
Doctor Who, it was a
I thought-
female Doctor. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought the character was called Doctor Who.
So did I.
Only in the Peter Cushing films, where he's not a Time Lord in those. He's an inventor.
This is riveting.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a girlfriend. Instead of trying to find a dog at home,
should we try and get you a girlfriend?
Yeah. I promise I won't
Right.
talk about Doctor
down
Who.
the barrel now at 6. Right. And what we'll do is we'll clip it. Right? So straight down the barrel. Just give an advert, right? Give an advert. Come on.
I promise I will never talk about where am I looking. I promise I will never. You can, if you want to say Doctor Who, you can say Doctor Who. I'll never watch it again.
So you're willing to give up Doctor Who?
Yeah.
For the right woman. Well, there we go. OK.
There we go.
Well, gosh, I mean, imagine emails will be flooding in for that. So Clive's been on. Clive says, I would like to date Greg. No, he doesn't really. He said, I put forward Eddie Izzard's name to play the role of James Bond. What about yourself as Bond? That'll be good. I think it would be a very, very different film, Francine, wouldn't it?
Definitely. I can't see that at all.
No.
I agree with the first guy. It's got to be a manly man.
I could see you being a Bond girl.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that, Patrick. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's all. I think that's every girl's dream.
Is it?
Being a Bond girl. Yeah, definitely.
They don't tend to come off well, though, do they?
No. Well,
I don't think they ever make it to a second film, do they?
They never make it to a
I'm
second.
just happy with one.
That's true. Yeah. I was just being greedy for you. I want you to be in a franchise.
Absolutely. Well, a suggestion on future challenges comes in from Alison. Thank you very much. Of course, if you are just joining us, I do challenge Christys. This week was cow milking. I didn't really do particularly well at it, but there we go. You can watch it on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Alison says, love GB News, all doing a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Alison. Suggestion for Patrick would be great to see him take part in a funny girls show in Blackpool. What's a funny girls show?
I actually do know this because I've been to Blackpool and yeah, it's like a drag act.
Oh!
In fact, it is. In fact, it's not like a drag act. It's a drag.
Is.
Yeah,
it's an overt drag act.
Yeah, I think.
I think you'd be good. I think you'd be great at that. It's really bugging me, though. You've still got a piece of your
Apparently,
wig
I've got
over
some
here.
wig in my hair.
I've got it out.
Thank you
There
very
you
much.
You can drag up. I've dragged up.
I could drag. You've done drag?
Yeah, I did.
What was your drag
I was
name?
I didn't have one. I was in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, and I was I thought I'd be all right. I was terrifyingly ugly. I had good legs, terrible face in drag. It was quite a shock.
Gosh.
Yeah.
OK, all right.
No good.
What's the opposite? You don't really get female versions of drag, do you?
You don't. No, you don't. It's true. We need to change this, Patrick.
We need
Everything's
to change.
changing. We might have a female Bond, so let's have a female... I don't know what you'd call it.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know. We'll come up with something. But I have now just about got time for a quick reminder of my attempt to raise money for the mental health charity Mind. Back in April, I danced with the Dream Boys, who are a group of male strippers. And if you're watching on GB News, etc., you'll agree that, of course, well, initially anyway.
You lost weight. You look like you've lost weight.
I've lost a stone and a half.
Stone and a half.
Yeah, we said that at the beginning.
I know,
I was
just
I'm not Patrick.
Just bringing it up.
Just bringing it up right now. I mean, I still look absolutely nothing like those hunks that are there. But I'm not doing it for free. OK, I refuse to get out of bed for free.
You look very David Walliams there.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
See, Greg, I said that before, and he said, no, you don't. You are so much like him.
Well, thank you in a way. I wish I had his bank balance.
Yeah.
But I am also raising money for Mind. This is a mental health charity. So far, you have donated 22,330 quid, OK? And that is justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys, justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. Mind do some brilliant work helping some of the most vulnerable people in society. Make sure that you do donate. That link just one more time, justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge Christys. Oh, excuse me, easy for me to say that. Would you ever have the bottle to to go and do anything like that? Get your kit off on stage?
No, I'd actually rather do the Funny Girls than stand alongside the Dream Boys. Yeah, I think that.
Have you ever been to a Dream Boys show?
Of course she has.
Yeah. Just had a sneaky little.
Look at her face.
I was actually very fortunate because I was performing. I did a corporate for someone's baby shower, and she had the Dream Boys there. And,
At a baby shower?
At a baby shower, I know.
That's one of the least appropriate things I've ever heard in my life.
Still look after this baby.
But it was in a very private room in Claridge's, and we had the Dream Boys to ourselves for a good half hour. So
was the Dream Boy anything to do with the baby in the first place? Is that why? Was it a paternity?
Yeah,
maybe. But no, it was a great afternoon. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh well, there we go. Well, look, if you can just send us a few quid. I know it's your hard-earned money, but we do really appreciate it, even though times are tough. Because what I'm trying to do is just raise a bit of money for male mental health. Do you know that every single day 12 men take their own lives, and suicide is apparently the single biggest killer of men under the age of 45, which is pretty staggering stuff, really, when you think about everything else. It's out there. So it's justgiving.com/fundraising/challenge. Christys will try to get a date in the diary very, very shortly. It is almost time for me to go and hand over to the wonderful Mark Dolan, who, what you will not be able to see at home here, comes in and sits right behind my camera, pulls faces, waves a bit at me, and somehow I'm supposed to still continue to do a good show. Good to see you, Mark. I would ask you what you got to come up, but it looks like the camera's facing the wrong way around. Do you want to shout it?
Yeah, it's going to be a great show, but not as good as yours.
Oh, there we go. Short and sweet. Lovely stuff. All right, thank you very much. Mark Dolan, very much in the studio. He'll be with you for the next couple of hours. It is almost time for me to go, but has anyone... OK, it's not a pantomime. Has anyone got a taxi for Christys?
Taxi for Christys.
Remarkably light out there for the time of year, isn't it? But first, this was the week when the world discovered a dog that looked like Richard Gere.
Oh.
Oh, it does!
I would adopt that one.
Would you? It's got a bit weird.
That came out so fast as well, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
It is actually a very handsome dog.
I didn't think the Dream Boys at a baby shower could get any weirder, but you've just topped it at the end there.
Richard Gere's dog.
No, I can see the resemblance, actually.
Well, it looks exactly like Richard Gere. Anyway, and at the Labour Party conference, Sir Keir Starmer got a photo with his biggest fan. Yes, that is... It's not... OK, well, something's happened here, because I knew that original picture, and that original picture was of our political correspondent, Tom Harwood, and what they appear to have done in the studio there is morph my face onto Tom Harwood. So that is what I would look like if I was the love child of myself and Tom Harwood.
I thought, I was thinking there was a resemblance, I swear, and then I'm thinking, am I just thinking everyone looks like Patrick?
No, I mean, it's disgusting, isn't it? Absolutely disgusting.
It's not
he looks
great.
like... Remember that cartoon Mad? Was it called Mad? You know, the little boy that was the...
Yeah.
That's what you look like.
There's no winners there. Right, that is all for tonight. Remember, I want to hear from you. If you've got any ideas for Challenge Christys, email me directly, patrick@gbnews.uk. I'll be presenting live at the Conservative Party conference from 3 o'clock on Monday. But up next, yes, you had a cheeky little glimpse of him earlier on. Mark Dolan, the man, the myth, the legend. He's here, and his show, by the way, is absolutely on fire at the minute, so you are not going to want to miss that. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Francine, thank you. Greg, thank you. Hope to see you both again soon. People, love you all. Mwah.
Hello again, I'm Aidan McGivern from the Met Office. Friday has been wet and windy for many of us. The rain clears through the evening, further showers following, and it stays breezy overnight because of an area of low pressure, which is just to the north of Scotland at the moment, a deep low brought about by an active jet stream, that fast-flowing current of air high in the sky, and it's sent a weather front or two across the UK during the last 24 hours. Now, the most persistent and heaviest rain clears through. Very windy for a time through the Dover Strait. Parts of Kent could see 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. But eventually calmer, clearer conditions follow, albeit with quite a number of showers in the north and the west. And under those clear spells, temperatures in places dipping to these single figures, but not as low as they were on Thursday night because of the stiff breeze that we keep through the night. And a bright start for many as we begin the weekend. Blue skies for much of central and eastern UK, but in the west, showers from the word go, and they topple in and spread to most parts by the afternoon. They'll continue to be most frequent towards the northwest, where it will be another very breezy day. And it'll feel cool in that breeze, but away from the showers with some sunny spells, temperatures into the mid to high teens. So feeling a bit warmer, I suppose, compared with Friday. Through the evening, further showers continue for North Wales, Northern England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Further south, drier for a time, but the next system begins to head in. For the southwest of England, thicker cloud and some spells of rain by dawn here. Milder air as well, 13 Celsius, whilst it's looking more likely to be 8 to 11 Celsius elsewhere across the UK. And we'll keep the showers going across Scotland, Northern Ireland, parts of Northern England on Sunday. Brighter skies through central areas, but in the south, southern counties of England, perhaps South Wales,